He had expressed concern for his own safety, and he's in a room where there are tools that were ultimately used to put him in the hospital and threaten the rest of the staff and youth on campus. I guess why were more JCOs not assigned to that scenario when it sounds like the warning signs were there?
Well, that's something, you know, youth are in his classroom every day. Every day youth have been in his classroom, and you know, do
you see any ethical concerns over that?
No. No, I did. The money was not tied to anything. The money.
We don't let students leave early.
Well, you did, and that's, I guess, what I'm trying to get at. Who made that call to do that to a student who clearly needs the time, perhaps more than her counterparts?
I can't answer who made that call last year.
All right. So if you can get in there, this was the first leak. This is not, I've had 2 leaks since I've been here.
Okay.
Or everything that's falling out, everything is falling out from under the mobile home.
On September 23rd, a woman who asked to be called Miss Richards gave us a tour of the mobile home she's renting on Santa Circle in South Congaree. At every turn, there was a new problem.
Oh, yeah, sure enough, it's already started.
Yeah, because it's leaking from my thing. Anytime I run it, it leaks. So this is what she did. She put a piece of wood over it one time, put sand over it.
So this is your septic tank?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
This is one of the big holes. As you see this, I had this stuffed in. Look, they got the roaches that come. Now this is the hole. They're coming from outside.
Is that like rat poop?
They chewed up the wood. The rats are chewing up the wood.
She says the roaches and rats forced her to put in a playpen in her own living room.
I had to stay up at night to make sure roaches wouldn't attack my kids. So they don't sleep in their room. My little ones sleep with me. And I'm just fed up. I'm tired. I'm living a nightmare. I'm fed up. I'm tired.
One thing I think people might ask is why stay here?
Right.
If it's
Well, in the beginning, my light bill, because she has electrical issues since I came in. So in the beginning, my light bill was about $1,700 a month. So it's hard for you to pay $700 a month of light bill and pay $700 a month of rent and try to save up to move. And the money that I spent daily, like $93 a day, just to keep the roaches down, to keep the rats out. You know, I rat spray. I mean, I'm spending too much just to keep them safe to even save up to leave.
DHEC records show the agency first alerted landlord Naomi Halter about the wastewater leak back in November. After months of back and forth, the agency ordered her to fix it in May. However, yesterday, DHEC told us that Halter had met the requirements of that order. DHEC inspectors had gone to the site 3 times, once in June before our interview with Richards and twice thereafter, finding no wastewater leaks. Richards tells us that the leak continues as of Tuesday. The same week we talked with Richards, I took a short drive to Genesis Circle. Neighbors shared a similar story.
We can't, some of us cannot afford to move just like that. Like I'm saying, I'm on a fixed income.
Neighbors showed me more holes in the floor and even a burst water pipe. This video was filmed in September. DHEC reports first notifying Halter about the leak in March. The agency reported to WIS this week the situation has been corrected. The tenant won't get to enjoy the repairs. Halter evicted her in September over missing rent. An email from the Federal Rental Assistance Program SE Stay Plus shows it told Halter the money was coming in August, but the eviction proceeded. South Carolina's Residential Landlord and Tenant Act requires a landlord to keep the premises in a fit and habitable condition. Richards has taken Halter to court, and a magistrate ordered Halter to make repairs in June. A follow-up hearing was scheduled for earlier in October. She attempted to hold Halter accountable here at the Oak Grove Magistrate's office. The goal was to have Halter held in contempt of court. That hearing was continued. Attempts to arrange an interview with Halter and her attorney for this story were unsuccessful.
No one is in the office. office at the present time. Please leave a message, name, and number.
I sat down with South Congaree's chief of police, its mayor, and its part-time code enforcer. They say code enforcement has become a recent priority for the department.
Was code enforcement being done to the top tier to where it's at now? Absolutely not. Was there certain things that were addressed? It was, and those things would be on a complaint basis. Councils change, mayors change, people change, and we're going to follow the lead of our leaders. And this mayor has said that she wants to clean up the town, and that's what we're going to do.
The special called council meeting will come to order.
In the last month, the town council debated and approved a 6-month contract with the company to be the town's building inspector and assist with code enforcement as requested. Town ordinances require an annual May inspection by a building official before a license permit is given, something that hadn't been happening while the town was looking to fill the position. Chief Josh Schumpert says his tools are limited because lease disputes are civil, not criminal matters.
Some of this stuff is out of our hands, so to speak, and sometimes that's sad because they call us thinking we can fix it and we can't. We don't have authority in those courts to do anything.
That's not to say the department is powerless. Sergeant Chad Walker has cited mobile home owners across the town for ordinances he can enforce, namely unoccupied buildings or using the homes as a storage facility.
The ones that have come to court I think they understand now. I hope they understand because it's not going to stop.
Municipal court found Halter guilty on 11 violations of the unoccupied building ordinance. Her business licenses were revoked, and an appeal hearing will be heard by Mayor Cindy Campbell and the rest of town council. Without directly addressing Halter, the mayor discussed mobile homes in the town.
I think about human rights issues and the fact that these families have rights, and the fact that we have children that don't speak up for themselves. I mean, I'm a grandma, I know. These children need somebody to fight for them.
It's unclear how the council will vote. Goldsmith's body camera footage from that incident.
I didn't do anything. Get your feet in the car. Come on now, stop. For real, please, sir. Slide in there. Please, sir. Now. I didn't do anything. Please, sir.
Attorneys Brett Perry and Robert Butcher filed a civil suit over the Sims incident, and it settled for $1.5 million on behalf of Sims. In the civil case, they researched Goldsmith's and Bone's history. Bone references this in his conversation with Handy.
Brett Perry's pushing this lawsuit, and he's digging into anything and everything he can and going all into the past. He's digging through my email account, cell phones accounts, and just looking for any little thing to tie me to Goldsmith.
For Sheriff Lee Bone to see me as some sort of nemesis, to see me as the problem, then I wear that like a badge of honor. That means I'm doing my job. I'm holding his agency accountable.
The attorneys found Bone hired Goldsmith to the sheriff's office in 2019, despite recommending de-escalation training for him while they worked together at the Camden Police Department in 2018. Goldsmith was responsible for more than a third of all of Camden PD's uses of force in 2018 through that July. A scheduled de-escalation training review was never completed.
And the fact that I hired him knowing the number of use of forces he had at Camden, I hired him anyway at Kershaw. Should have known, but well, use of force and excessive force is two different things. I would never tell a deputy that I expect you to do whatever you can to make sure you don't hurt this person resisting arrest. You're not going to do that. You do whatever you got to do to make sure you don't get hurt and anybody from the public gets hurt, and you're able to detain and put this person in custody. That is what you need to do. Yes, minimum amounts that you need to do, but how do you question what is a minimum amount?
As a leader, what he should be doing is gathering his leadership and saying, where did we fail? How do we change this? How do we protect ourselves? How do we protect the citizens of Kershaw County? What changes do we need to make? How do we change our culture?
Bone did implement a disciplinary review board in the aftermath of the Goldsmith incident and has publicly admitted responsibility for making improvements.
Is that why we started the disciplinary review board thing?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like, okay, we're missing some parts here, and we learned a lesson. Yeah. We're not perfect. If the public if the public's looking for perfection out of us, we're going to always let them down. You know, we are nothing more than citizens with badges. We got to do better in our training. We got to make sure these guys understand what right and wrong is, and we got to keep going better and going into the future. Teaching the guys better.
Perry has sued Bone and Goldsmith 3 times for violating the constitutional rights of plaintiffs. Bone shared frustrations with concerns over constitutional rights.
And in their opinion, the anti-police opinions, well, y'all signed up for it. Nobody made y'all do that job. Okay, look, if we're not doing it, who will? Do you not think we need some type of law and order around here? Do you always want to let things go? Well, y'all violated his constitutional rights. I get so tired of this constitutional rights garbage. Yes, Constitution is in place to protect people from government. Okay, nobody's violating your rights. Nobody's coming to your house taking your little guns, and nobody's forcing you to get a vaccination. Nobody's violating your rights. No government entity is trying to violate your rights.
Bone also shared his thoughts on Goldsmith's actions.
Goldsmith knocking that guy out, knocking his teeth out. Oh, I could have defended that. You don't know where a gun's at. The guy's up there breaking the law.
All right, don't just detain. You're not under arrest or anything, all right?
No.
All charges against the suspect, Tony Sims, were dismissed. Bone described the event as 2 different incidents, before and after the suspect was handcuffed. Bone admitted to initially only watching the video to the point Sims was handcuffed.
I'm saying. Oh. Hand. Give me your hand.
No,
Give me your hand.
No.
Do you see it as 2 different events, or?
I don't.
No, it's police misconduct. Right. It's excessive force from the get-go. Right. You got to remember, he was just being detained. That does not, give the police the right to deliver 5 punches, including a knockout blow.
Man, that's justified there. Yeah, it looks nasty, but look here, the public wants us to video what we're doing. The public's got to understand that there's evil in this world that they don't understand.
Bone expressed frustration with the Fifth Circuit Solicitor's Office for not prosecuting Sims and dropping cases Goldsmith was involved in.
It was just an excuse that they could do. Well, he's just not a credible witness now, so we're going to dismiss him. Because of one incident where he overreacted makes him uncredible for any other opinion. That's just an excuse to get rid of everything.
The Solicitor's Office declined to comment.
Once the guy was handcuffed, man, everything after that was just wow. You can't justify that. That's a tough thing. I don't think Goldsmith meant anything evil out of it. He was just, his mind was set. He had to get that guy in that car.
Bone did express sympathy for Goldsmith, but also said he was not using his training.
Once they can take Goldsmith out as acting outside of the realm of the department and what he was trained to do, once that is established, and it will be established, I hate it for Goldsmith.
Bone also referenced his posts on social media and public criticism he's received.
I think the vast majority of people love us, but you got some people that are kind of on that fence there, and then they see stuff that just like, and that's all you're going to see is the bad stuff.
Oh yeah.
The good stuff?
Yeah.
And that's why, some people are like, well, man, why do you always put stuff on Facebook? Because people need to know what we're doing. They need to know it in a positive way. They need our version of what we're doing, the true version, because you got to constantly remind people.
Sheriff Bone did not respond to multiple interview requests for this story.
Are you concerned that perhaps your efforts to hold Sheriff Bone accountable in this case would undermine the efforts of the deputies you perhaps look up to on other cases?
I think most of the good deputies want they want justice, and they want to make sure that we have good police. Okay, you know, this is not an us versus them. This is not the law enforcement versus the public. And unfortunately, Lee Bone has created it that way.